Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94, back with another reaction video. Today, we're going to react to Kids WB Retrospective, man. We're going to react to Kids WB. And let me just say this first and foremost: Fox Kids is the GOAT, but let's not act like Kids WB wasn't that motherfucking. Let's not act like Kids WB wasn't that Saturday morning cartoon block eater, nigga.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's MVP. That's why he's the GOAT of
It's 1A and 1B for me. It's 1A, 1B. Kids WB and Fox Kids. They 1A and 1B. That's how I see it. Man, what a time to be alive, man. It's taking me back, man. Come on, man. The good old days, man. Saturday mornings.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
Come on, man. The good old days, man. Saturday mornings, man. Waking up, man. All these cartoons at your disposal, man. Y'all just don't know, man. Oh, man. The good old days, man. Big ass bowl of cereal. And my Spider-Man draws. Oh, man. Watch all them cartoons. Then moms get up. She start cleaning up. You got to get out the kitchen. Go back in the room. Finish up the TV show. Hop on the PlayStation. Then after that, a little while later, go outside. Play with the basketball for a little bit. Then go back inside. Take a shower. And then we heading out for the day.
Some days I sit and wish I was a kid. And everybody say, I remember way back when. And everybody say, I remember way back when. And everybody say, I remember way back when. What? Back in the days, way back in the days.
Come on, man. These are the simple times, man. Damn how I missed the 90s and the early 2000s, bruh. Damn. Good ass times, bruh.
Kids WB does not assume responsibility for overturned beds or footprints on ceilings.
I don't know, but I heard tell the WB.
Pinky in the brain. What are we gonna do tonight, Brain? Do what we always do, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Well, what you doing? There's nothing on TV.
Yeah.
Well, you turn that channel straight to the WB.
Word number one.
Kids who live in a water tower, a krypton guy with superpower.
Yes, they had Superman too, yeah. Sister, I do remember Sister. Tweety Bird had her own. Tweety Bird had their own show. Kids WWB.
Launched on September 9th, 1995, and surviving longer than the network it was based from, Kids WB was critical for the WB TV network. To understand Kids WB, you have to understand its inception, its competition, and the platform it was built upon: Fox.
Notice the extremely small cranium. Uh-oh, roll it, dude!
Entertainment in the late 80s toward the early 90s was vastly different than the streaming and instant internet era of the present. By the turn of the 80s into the 90s, there were only a handful of options for entertainment. With cable gaining traction and video rental stores requiring you to pay for movies or TV shows, the simplest approach was the one that had been around for decades. Broadcast networks were the king of the small screen, and the big three were the center of this empire. NBC, CBS, and ABC, establishing their dominance since the 1950s on television and radio presence a quarter of a century earlier, used local TV affiliates to sustain and expand their national reach. Here's how it goes. In major metropolitan areas like New York, DC, Chicago, LA, and dozens of others, there are a set of local television stations that compete in presenting news and specific local content. The stations battle to attract the highest ratings for increased ad revenue. The higher the ratings, the more eyes are on your station, the higher you can charge for advertising. Other stations are used for specific purposes, like public broadcasting. But outside of public broadcasting, these stations contractually agree to affiliate or outright become owned by broadcast networks. This is generally a positive for both the station and the network. The station benefits from nationally popular programming while the network gains regional outreach. And every metro region has different stations with different call signs. Don't worry, you won't have to remember much of this. Just as I mentioned before, in the world of network television, ABC, NBC, and CBS were the kings, but a fourth network had never successfully garnered long-term success.
Until Fox.
Fox's approach to developing a widespread network and success in doing so solidified the network's long-term hold as a sustainable fourth network. This strategy and design would be the same skeleton used by both Warner on the WB network and Paramount on UPN. Fox found even more success after launching and expanding its kid-focused block in 1990, Fox Kids. That block mixed live-action programming like Power Rangers with animation, and one of the first cartoons to land along with a set of others was Tom and Jerry Kids, a Hanna-Barbera production. The second year, 1991, brought in newcomer Tasmania, an animated comedy made by Warner Brothers Animation. 1992 brought the iconic Batman the Animated Series, Tiny Toon Adventures, and Merry Melodies, all made by WB Animation, acquired to Fox. 1993 was the debut of Animaniacs. Fox was now sustaining much of its kid-centric programming on WB properties. Of course, WB could see this just as clearly, and in the same year, Time Warner announced their development of a new network, a fifth network to compete in local programming.
Here at WMCC, we've been trying to keep the secrets behind the new WB television network hidden from the competition. But there are some secrets you just can't keep quiet.
From NBC News, this is Today with Bryant Gumbel.
Lisa, if Art Modell has his way, the Browns will be playing next season in the city of Baltimore.
But there was one thing they didn't plan on.
We'll spend some real quality time together. I think I'm gonna be
Quiet before it's gone forever.
Available for the Sony PlayStation.
Gee, Daffy, I wonder who they're gonna get to pull the switch. Why me, indubitably, as I possess all of the talent around here.
January 11th, 1995. The WB was no longer conceptual. It became reality.
Spark up the big screen and watch the WB. Yeah!
8 months later is where our journey begins with Kids WB. September 9th, 1995, and it was the beginning of a tectonic shift in animated programming.
The mystery is over. This fall they've come home.
It's time for Animaniacs.
That's right. The Animaniacs have left their old network behind
Damn.
and have come back home to join their fellow Warner Brothers stars.
Reporting for work, sir.
It's the start of a whole new network for kids.
Kids WB. And no grown-ups allowed.
Suffer and succotash. Sylvester and Tweety are on the case.
In a brand new mystery series.
Earthworm Jim leaps out of his hit video game and into
Earthworm
his own
Jim.
show. Oh, groovy! A new hero is unveiled.
Freakazoid.
Steven Spielberg presents Freakazoid.
Don't forget to freak out.
And Pinky the Brain.
Yo, this shit got Pinky in the Brain. Yo, take me back.
So sit tight, 'cause this morning you'll have seen one, but two
Bro, take me
episodes
back.
of Animaniacs. Welcome to Kids WB, and all new Animaniacs is next.
What brought Fox Kids' attention and popularity was now at the WB, and promotion of Kids WB made this clear and concise. WB even debuted a special known as Welcome Home Animaniacs, featuring the trio leaving the Fox lot, as well as giving sneak peeks for upcoming content. In its infancy, Kids WB had the backing of dozens of hours of original animation, as well as modern newcomers. Iconic director Steven Spielberg had already been working with WB Animation on Animaniacs, Freakazoid, and Pinky and the Brain, launched with the debut of Kids WB in September. Additionally, Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries and That's Warner Brothers, a collection of shorts, were part of the inaugural lineup. Kids WB started with two variants: the Saturday morning block that ran from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., and a weekday afternoon block, later known as the Aftertoons Show, aired from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m.
And this right here was the game changer right here. Coming home from school, and you got to see shows like Shaolin Showdown, motherfucking Johnny Test, Static Shock, nigga. Come on, man. Kids WB was the game changer, bruh. A 2-hour block of nothing but cartoons. You get your Looney Tunes, and then you get a new episode of Shaolin Showdown and Static Shock, bro. Kids WB was, like I said, it's 1A, 1B, bro. They both, Fox Kids and WB Kids was always on par with each other, bro. For me personally, they both was always on par. It's not even, bro.
To this day. To this day.
The brilliance of the weekday block was established first by Fox Kids. In an era where smartphones didn't exist, game consoles were just becoming prominent to the mainstream, and the internet was still in consumer infancy, there weren't wide swaths of options for kids to entertain themselves unless you went outside. There was no ability to watch on demand or skip a premiere, stream to Hulu or Netflix. This is why Saturday morning cartoon blocks are so widely remembered, and where weekday afternoon blocks aimed at kids were so critical. Back in that era, if you were dismissed from school and home in time, whereas some networks like CBS or NBC aired boring adult-centric programming, Kids WB was there with content for you. The strategy of aiming programming to kids during afternoons in after-school hours and afternoons during summer vacation gave the WB and Fox Kids success. Maybe you were a kid that loved cartoons but didn't have cable. Getting to that 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. time slot was your only option, and of key urgency. The inaugural year was focused on proving a block could be successful.
Other than that, you had to watch PBS all day, bruh. And PBS didn't really have that much shows. I mean, Sesame Street come on. Sesame Street come on while you on your way to school. Like, let's get that out the way right now. Sesame Street came on as you was getting ready for school. Then you gotta sit through an hour block. Then you gotta sit through hours of just kiddie shows. Well, no, I'll take that back. Cause after Sesame Street go off, the motherfucking GOAT show came on.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's everything. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
The greatest PBS show of all time, and you can't tell me it's not. You can't tell me it's not the greatest PBS show of all time, nigga. Barney, nigga. Don't even come at me, bro. Barney is the greatest PBS show of all time. Kiss my ass if you don't think so. If you think Sesame Street is the greatest, no, nigga, it's Barney. Hands down, nigga, Barney. What? I love you, you love me. We're a happy family with a great big hug and a kiss from me to you. Won't you say you love me too? Come on, man. Come on, man. I used to stay with them Barney tapes, man. Come on, man. Barney is the GOAT. I don't care what y'all say. Then after that, you get like, what else would come on? JJ the jet plane. And then Theodore the tugboat. Theodore. He's a tugboat and a friendly tugboat too. Then after that, fucking Teletubbies would come on. Teletubbies would be on for a whole fucking hour. And then after that, that's when all the good shows start coming on around like 1 o'clock. So that's when all the good shows start coming on. Between the lions, come on. Come in. Begin. The world awaits. And then after that, what else would come on after that? Oh, Arthur. Then Sabumafu. No, I take that back. Another show would come on after that. Then Sabumafu. Then they ended off with Zoom. Nah. After Arthur, Bill Nye the Science Guy. Yep, it was Bill Nye the Science Guy. 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 Come on, man. Then motherfucking then Sabumafu would come on. Then they ended off with Zoom. Come on and Zoom, come on and Zoom, come on and Zoom. Come on, man. That's all you had during the summertime if you ain't had no cable. PBS was your best friend until about 4 o'clock. But around that time, like I said, Arthur would be on. So it was like fuck Arthur after that. It was like fuck Arthur and fuck Sabumafu and all them motherfuckers. I'll catch y'all when I catch y'all. Right now I need to get into the Static Shock and the Shaolin Showdown.
While exclusively relying on in-house animation.
Reload by Twister now.
This weekend at Kids WB.
Turner Broadcasting, a major entertainment player, had recently acquired film studios New Line Cinema and Castle Rock Entertainment in the early to mid-90s. More importantly, the company had major strength in the world of cable. Turner's cable holdings included CNN, who, at the time, was at the forefront of news. I know, ironic. As well as high-rated networks TBS, TNT, TCM, and the Cartoon Network. With that collection of content, Time Warner proposed and successfully merged with Turner Broadcasting for $7.5 billion. This would give Time Warner a set of prominent networks in the cable landscape, but critically present Time Warner an access point to return to cable after selling MTV, Nickelodeon, and the Movie Channel to Viacom in 1985. This meant Time Warner now had its hands in both cable and local networks. The WB network, coming off its inaugural year, was expanding its reach nationally to new stations as well as presenting new content. Over at Kids WB, series like Animaniacs, Freakazoid, Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, Pinky and the Brain, That's Warner Brothers, and Earthworm Jim returned in '96, joined by a swath of Looney Tunes-centric cartoons in the same year of the box office debut of Space Jam. Bugs and Daffy, Road Rovers, and Waynehead were newcomers. However, the first genre expansion was underway. Superman, the animated series, squarely placed Kids WB in the superhero action genre, a critical growth that would place the block toe-to-toe with Fox Kids. The expansion of programming gave way to a new schedule, dubbed Big Kids Go First. Introduced in mid-October alongside the debut of Waynehead, the goal was to push action and heroes into earlier time slots to get older kids to watch. Unfortunately, older kids didn't care and tended to wake up later on Saturday mornings, resulting in the Big Kids Go First schedule to be axed urgently by the next month. With an increase in content, the Saturday morning variant of the block was expanded by an hour, now running from 8 a.m. to noon. Additionally, Tasmania, an animated series produced by WB, which was pulled from Fox in 1995, landed on Cartoon Network. This was the first of many animated series that was pulled by WB and instead brought to the Cartoon Network.
Epic adventure of the year will never come to a theater near you. Final Fantasy VII.
It's Nickelodeon Magazine.
It is everything you've imagined.
The WB had come a long way in just 2 years, with primetime content like Buffy targeting the young adult demographic, and Kids WB gaining success with its superhero debut of Superman in '96. Continued expansion was the network's priority. The returning cast of shows were joined by more DC Comics-centric shows, and for the first time, a swath of cartoons produced outside of Warner Brothers Animation. WB original cartoons, Batman the Animated Series, the new Batman Superman Adventures, and Tiny Toon Adventures were joined by Captain Planet, Channel T3, The Legend of Calamity Jane, and Men in Black, the series.
Oh,
this
man.
was the widest point of content.
I remember the Men in Black series. I just remember that theme song. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. Hopefully y'all get hold on. That shit used to go hard, bro. Hold on. Yeah, bruh. I think this show went on for like 2 seasons and they canceled it. And I was a kid, I was expecting to hear Will Smith. It wasn't Will Smith. I think that's why I didn't really watch the show like that. But I kind of started slowly getting into it. My shit, bruh. I ain't gonna lie to you. Yes, sir.
Content yet, and as such, the block was expanded. An all-new time slot was given. This morning weekday block was only an hour long, airing from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., presenting kids content just before school began. This meant programming was now being aimed at kids on weekday mornings, weekday afternoons, Saturday mornings as well. The widest the block would be scheduled. Some affiliate WB stations preferably pushed the morning block into the weekday afternoon segment, which itself had already been extended that year. What was 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. became 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on those previously mentioned affiliate networks that didn't carry the morning block and instead pushed it into the afternoon. The block also received a new logo, bumper, and graphics package. This would be the logo that would live on through the remainder of the block's life, the logo that most of you probably remember. A key executive who had written for series Pinky and the Brain, as well as Animaniacs, left WB over creative disputes of the direction the network was taking the two series. That exec, Peter Hastings, would be key in designing, developing, and overhauling a Saturday morning cartoon block on rival network ABC. Just months later, Disney's One Saturday Morning with Hastings at the helm debuted.
NASA and its worldwide partners will soon launch the first stages of the International Space Station.
Come by and watch the fireworks. Your wish has been granted. Full on. Only Toonami.
WB Channel was having a breakthrough year. After finding a target demographic to aim toward, shows like the prior year's Buffy became amplified by Dawson's Creek. With all great momentum, there comes a lull. 1998 isn't remembered well in the history of Kids WB. It sits between two critically influential years for the block, as little developed in the 12-month time span. With the schedule expanded by 2 hours in 97, the time allotted to Kids WB was unaltered. Some content was dropped in place of others. Captain Planet, a Hanna-Barbera production, channel UMP-T3, as well as Pinky and the Brain, a series that launched with the block itself, were dropped. The DC superhero series, Looney Tune Productions, and others continued to air, with newcomers Hysteria, Brats of the Lost Nebula, and Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain joining the lineup. 98 didn't evolve the network, but there were still special moments. For WB's summer animated feature, Quest for Camelot, the block was specially themed in a medieval tone on the movie's opening weekend, with the iconic water tower reskinned as a fortress tower, and the duo Devon and Cornwall, a two-headed dragon from the film, hosting. Outside of WB, networks were flooding the increasingly popular cable landscape with content aimed specifically for kids. The Fox Family Channel, Toon Disney, Discovery Kids, and others joined channels like Nickelodeon, whose ratings were exceeding beyond competitors. This was the canary in the coal mine, for signs of the target market shifting in the way it consumed content.
March 31st, The Matrix has you.
Ah, shit!
That theme song right about now. They ain't gonna hear it.
Nope. No.
Uh-uh.
Ryan, you're gonna get roofed.
Shut up, quadruped. So what do you want to do after school? WB yourself. It's time to cut loose. Hang out and WB yourself.
1999, more than any year prior, was the most critical yet. Animaniacs, Batman the Animated Series, Hysteria, the new Batman Superman Adventures, Superman the Animated Series, the Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, and Tiny Toon Adventures remained on the block. Bugs and Daffy, Pinky, Elmira, and the Brain, as well as the new Batman Adventures, were discontinued. However, WB brought a diverse trident of original series to the table to counteract the three exits. Batman Beyond continued the iconic hero's time on the block alongside others in the increasingly popular superhero action genre. The big cartoony show promoted more loony-styled tunes, while Detention was a down-to-earth adventure. But it was a franchise outside of WB Animation's wheelhouse that was about to play a significant role. A franchise so prominent, it boosted Kids WB's ratings beyond rival Fox Kids. A franchise that was a worldwide icon and yet to have a solid home in the United States.
Gotta catch 'em all!
I'm Ash from the town of Pallet. I declare to the Pokemon of the world, I will be the greatest Pokemon master of all time!
There's only one place to catch Pokemon 6 days a week, Kids WB!
Yes!
Today's all-new Pokemon will return in a moment on Kids WB.
Today, Pokemon is legendary, but at the time, the series was still very much in its infancy. A billion-dollar worldwide icon, less than a handful of years old. Combine Fortnite, Frozen, and fidget spinners at their highest levels of popularity. Now double it, no, triple it. Nintendo
no, 10 times that shit.
Pokemon Red and Pokemon
10 times
Blue,
that shit, then times that shit by 50, then times that shit by 100, and you'll get what you got with Pokemon.
A young boy and his Pikachu who would capture the imagination of millions who wanted to become Pokemon masters, just like him. This was a hot ticket item.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all though, I didn't really fuck with Pokemon like that. I know a lot of y'all people might be ashamed of me. Listen, bruh. I was only watching Pokemon just to get to Power Rangers. I wasn't fucking with Pokemon like that. Don't look at me like that. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, okay? I come from the Yu-Gi-Ohs, you know, the trap cards, the the blue-eyed black dragons and all that shit. Like, bro, I come from that. Pokemon just wasn't for me. I don't know. It was just something about all them characters, bro. They didn't sit with me like that. Like, I didn't get with it. I didn't understand it. All I knew was this show came on before Power Rangers. And the show that came on before Power Rangers, because around that time Fox Kids lost all their shows to WB, so it was like you on WB for the most part, but when Power Rangers come on, it's like fuck everything else. Shit. But I wasn't a big Pokemon guy at all. Not at all.
To the kid-focused blocks. Pokemon would not only boost the block it aired on, but would boost the network as a whole. Remember, the more eyes, the higher the potential ad revenue.
Today at 7:30 on UPN 50.
8 o'clock weekdays on the Fox 51 Kids.
Originally airing through syndication, the series had aired simultaneously on Fox, WB, and UPN until February of '99 when Kids WB became the exclusive US home of Pokemon episodes. The move was critical for the block, as Pokemon was the first in a number of hits that allowed Kids WB to overtake and exceed competitors for years to come. The Fox Kids WB rivalry essentially was decimated here.
If you think you've seen them all, catch this.
Did fucking Digimon.
It's about to take you up to the next level. Brand new adventures, brand new characters,
Digimon.
brand new show. Don't get left behind. Watch an all-new Digimon.
And then my mom had the audacity to buy me these goddamn toys, knowing damn well I do not watch this show. I don't know why she did that. She really thought I was out here watching Digimon. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon, no champion. No, nigga, I wasn't watching that shit. She knew exactly what I was watching. I was watching Power Rangers and Thomas the Tank Engine. Come on, Mom. You should know by now. You know I don't mess with no damn Digimon, no Pokemon. Every time I saw Pokemon, I'm like, where the Power Rangers at? Where the Thomas Tank Engine at? Where the Blues Clues at? Come on, Mom. You know me better than that. You should have known me better than that. You know I don't play with no damn Digimon.
In just a few minutes, only on Fox Kids, and that's no lie.
With Pokemon moving to WB, Fox brought Digimon to the States. However, the massive success of Pokemon only overshadowed the new series. The perception that Digimon was simply a Pokemon knockoff became a mainstay of the show, even through its complete inaccuracy. From this point forward, Kids WB became ratings leader for kid-focused blocks on local networks.
Pretty much.
The way this worked, particularly in 1999, was strategically placing Pokemon throughout different sections of the block itself.
Fire 1, Fire 2, it's fire against fire in an all-new 2-part battle between Charizard and Magmar. Catch part 1 at its new earlier time after Batman Superman, then part 2's on an hour later after Men in Black. Brand new
Pokemon premieres would be placed between other shows, emphasizing and keeping ratings momentum on the block as a whole. Of course, this meant Pokemon was given more airtime than other shows. 1999 was the year Kids WB won the war. From this point forward, sustaining itself against the rise of cable and government enforcement of educational programming was its priority.
Goated ass game.
This summer, the future is here. There is a war. Within this book are cards, and within the cards are forces beyond your imagination.
There are waiting lists and tickets just to stand in line and get a chance to buy PlayStation.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
2000 wasn't only the turn of the century, but a major turn in the programming the block would prioritize. A number of series that had been the identity of the block were now at the end of their runs. Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, the new Batman-Superman Adventures, along with the big cartoony show, would exit. Animaniacs, the series that had been flagship in promoting the block at launch, Tiny Toon Adventures, Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, all members of the Looney-styled tunes that the block had been known for, also ended their runs. Only 3 in-house animated series remained. 3. A stark contrast to the block's launch lineup. Batman Beyond, Detention, and Hysteria. Fans missing Animaniacs would get a treat in the movie Wacko's Wish, which aired in February and is the unofficial but official finale of the show. Relying substantially more on content produced outside of the WB's wheelhouse, Generation O, Men in Black the animated series, but particularly Pokemon, continued to lead the network alongside newcomers Card Captors, the critically acclaimed Jackie Chan Adventures, toy-driven Max Steel, and, in a major turning point for Fox, X-Men Evolution. The idea of an X-Men series landing on rival Kids WB was a significant turn in the dying rivalry. But it was a WB animated series, particularly the only WB animated series launched that year, that would be as critical to Kids WB beyond its launch as Pokemon. Debuting on September 3rd, nominated a handful of times, winning an Emmy and tackling a bevy of social issues, Static Shock was one of the highest rated shows.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's everything! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Motherfucking Static Shock is the motherfucking show of all. Listen, I don't give a fuck about Pokemon. Batman was good, but no show was fucking with Static Shock. It's not even up for debate, nigga. You can't tell me that it is, bruh. Static Shock was that motherfucking show, bruh.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's everything! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
I'm telling you, bruh. You smoking on dick. I understand Pokemon. I understand the show wasn't as big as Pokemon. But for me personally, this is the GOATed show. This is the GOATed show of WB Kids. It's not even up for debate. And if you say Pokemon, kill yourself. Fucking dweeb. Fuck out of here. Come on, man.
On television at launch. Static Shock, developed by teams from the discontinued Batman and Superman animated series, and one of a number of WB projects inspired by X-Men, focused on teenager Virgil Hawkins, who suddenly got the powers of electricity and magnetism after a chemical accident. The show was renewed for another season just a month after debut, and leading large in the male, preteen, and teen demographic. Now 5 years old, Kids WB was far beyond its infancy, and though its loony identity had been wiped clean, Pokemon and Static Shock had no issue being faces of the block or the network.
Yep.
This is SportsCenter.
Get your hands on the hot new Xbox, you gotta think outside the box.
2001 was that year, though.
Continuing on the criticality of the past number of years, 2001 wasn't only important for Kids WB, but the WB network and rivals as a whole. With parent company Fox Family Entertainment's assets being sold to Disney, both Fox Kids and ABC's Saturday morning block were in a state of reorganization. A new competitor on local programming was just as ferocious as its cable hailings. Nickelodeon was already a major competitor, being the highest-rated network for kids anywhere in entertainment. After Viacom and CBS merged the prior year, Nick was now at the locally accessible level and captured its own fanbase. The WB debuted the critically loved and highly popular series Smallville, giving the network its highest premiere ratings. The network additionally gained new ownership, with control and operations of the WB network handed to the Turner Broadcasting Division. Turner's control was immediately evident in the weekday afternoon block, which officially redubbed as Toonami on Kids WB.
Yep, and we already watched this in the Toonami video. If you go back and watch that, apparently this didn't do so well.
Now arriving at Kids WB.
Toonami now begins with Batman Beyond on Kids WB. Prepare yourself for twice the Poké Battles with a full hour of Pokemon, followed by Dragon Ball Z, here on Kids WB.
Debuting Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, and Samurai Jack to the local network. The block within the block received special bumpers that were fitting for Toonami but clashed against the water tower nature of the Kids WB bumpers. Additionally, a number of Kids WB series had trickled their way onto Cartoon Network in prior and present years. Cartoon Network and Kids WB were now closer than ever. The identity of Kids WB was continuing to change. There were only 5 WB original series in production and airing on the block, a number significantly lower than the launch lineup of originals in '95. With Hysteria, Batman Beyond, and Detention in their final year, Static Shock and newcomer The Zeta Project held the fort. Series outside of the WB wheelhouse continued to grow on the block. The previously mentioned Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and Samurai Jack, as well as Cubix, Robots for Everyone, The Mummy, and Rescue Heroes joined the lineup. With Pokemon continuing to be a solid force, another franchise developed from manga and anime driven centrally by its awe-inspiring card battles debuted.
In the moment before a duel, you ask yourself a question.
That's why he's there, baby. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
Motherfucking Yu-Gi-Oh, man.
6 days a week, only on Kids WB.
Finding yet another hit on their hands, Yu-Gi-Oh! Now pushed Kids WB's ratings head-to-head against its greatest foe yet, and highest-rated kid network, Nickelodeon. This was the most diverse the block had been yet, with anime, WB originals, a live-action series, and a handful of other animation in the 2001 lineup. But
2001, going up against Nickelodeon. Going up against Nickelodeon in 2001, that's like an 8th grade basketball team going up against Kobe and Shaq in their prime. You're getting beasted. It don't matter how popular Pokemon is worldwide. Nothing, and I mean nothing, was fucking with SpongeBob around this time.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's there, baby. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT.
You can have Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, and Pokemon. It's still not gonna match up to SpongeBob. SpongeBob was a monster on its own, bruh. There was nothing y'all could do to compete with SpongeBob around that time, bruh. SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, Jimmy Neutron. I don't think Danny Phantom was out yet, but they still had Rugrats. Damn, Kenan and Kel was gone, so they out the loop. Yeah, so it was them. Rocket Power. Shit. What else was on Nickelodeon around this time? Wild Thornberries. Like, dog, that lineup alone, that Nickelodeon lineup alone destroys everything. The only difference is y'all cater to the kids that couldn't, and y'all cater to the households that couldn't afford cable. The houses that could afford cable, everybody knew who SpongeBob was. Even if you didn't have cable in your house, everybody knew who SpongeBob was. And that's facts, my nigga. That's facts. I knew plenty of kids that didn't have cable in their home, but knew who SpongeBob was, bro. Everybody was rocking SpongeBob, SpongeBob backpack, SpongeBob coloring books, SpongeBob notebooks, pencils, pens, crayons, markers. book bags, shoes, socks, underwear. You name it. If you could put SpongeBob face on it, some kid had it, bruh. Pokemon was cool, but it wasn't fucking with SpongeBob, bro. 2001, I can tell you right now, the whole schoolyard was quoting SpongeBob, bro. We had this one kid that was from Texas, got it every fucking day. Can we say that shoes from Texas or not? Come on, bro. You not fucking with SpongeBob. I'm sorry. Kids WB, you goated, but you not fucking with SpongeBob. Let's be real.
Critically, more and more of Kids WB's ratings were reliant on 4Kids entertainment content. One key change took place. For the first time, Kids WB lost an hour. The weekday morning block, which had aired from 7 to 8 a.m., was discontinued, leaving the afternoon and Saturday morning segments.
Yeah. Hey, we'll continue part 2 some other time, but for right now, Kids WB is goated, bro. Let's not even be like that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT. To this day.